Hello everyone and welcome back to the Talking Stick. I'm Jess and per usual I am your hostess. So today I'm going to do a quick update on the ketamine. I have finished my final round and I just thought I would do something a little bit less informationally based and something a little more based on my personal experience. So as I said in the initial video, I did 8 sessions. I actually spaced them around, a week apart, and definitely can feel the difference as far as, my personal mental health state is concerned. But I did want to emphasize that it wasn't all fun and games. It is work, and for me, like, I do have a history of psychedelic use. I have used a few different types of psychedelics in my life, and I wouldn't put this anywhere near anything I would do for fun. So I remember when I was first getting into it, someone was like, "Oh, so you're just going to like sit in your room and do ketamine and think that's going to heal you?" And I remember being like, "Well, I mean, I guess inevitably, yeah." I do sort of think that, or that is the perspective, but it really is much more than that, right? And so, you do have to journal, you do listen to like certain music, and I did titrate higher and higher. Now, my highest dosage, the last one was 700 milligrams, and then it was 6, 5, 4, 4, It started at 2. So, for me, I didn't like the actual experience of the ketamine very much. It actually really felt uncomfortable to me, and I know beforehand I was doing a bunch of research, and there were people that were like, "Oh, I had these great visuals. This was really amazing, colorful experience." And, I visited with my passed over loved ones, which for me was like something I was like, "Yes, please, universe, please. I would love for that, to happen." But it didn't. I really didn't have very many visuals at all throughout the whole time. And at first I thought, oh, I'm drinking too much coffee. My body needs to be more clean. So I did go on a full health, transition. I started doing yoga again after many years, even though I am an instructor. I hurt my arm and lost my autonomy with it. And it was really something that became more difficult for me to really want to do. And so, because I had to be more aware of the pain and the disability that I was experiencing in my body. So, I started that process again. I made sure I was sleeping, drinking water, only 1 cup of coffee a day. I stopped any other like cannabis use or anything else. And honestly, it didn't really change my experience, although of the drug itself, although I felt really amazing in the other days that I of the week. It did make me, I took the anti-nausea, it did make me quite nauseous, and I didn't really have visuals, but I did have these epiphanies, right, where like I would be like, oh, see some perspective of a situation that I hadn't previously seen, as well as, being able to feel so much more grounded in the day-to-day, to where I even received information that would have probably caused me meltdown, in some way, and to have like some pretty negative experiences in my own head during that time. I was really able to see things from a response over a reactive perspective. And so that's super invaluable in my opinion. And so I did want to talk a little bit about that, and that while, again, I wasn't a big fan of the actual ketamine experience, I am a huge fan of the therapy. But I just don't want people to get the wrong idea about what the experience is, because I'm not sure. I never did Special K, as a street drug. I've never done that. So I don't know what that's about or what that experience is about. But I'm going to assume that it isn't, you know, what I experienced. So I also did some research, and ketamine is very relatable to PCP. And so maybe on the street, it's a little bit more like the PCP experience, the street drug. But again, the medical experience that I just had was nothing that I would do like at a party or for fun. Okay, so for me, there wasn't a real risk of like addiction. I know some people are concerned with that, and I think that there are some different medical applications with the nasal spray, wherein for chronic pain and things, wherein you might take a small lower dose on a daily basis. And again, I don't have experience with that. I did this, to deal with my own grief and anxiety and PTSD over my experiences in the last few years. But I will say that I would recommend it. I am actually going to go ahead and start taking classes to work my way into a degree in holistic psychotherapy, so that I can move to Oregon and help people do this, because my experience with conventional mental health industry has been one that just doesn't always solve problems, and often doesn't solve problems, and ends up just being sort of a merry-go-round of pharmaceuticals that are taken on a daily basis, and have a potential for negative effects on your brain in an overall way, right? So I'm fully available to questions. If anyone wants to email me at thetalkingstickcollective@gmail.com, I am more than available to share my experience. But like I said, it was more about just sort of being able to step away from the emotional response to things, and really being able to look logically and from a big picture standpoint, and dissolve, any real ego-based negative reactions, because a lot of times when we have negative reactions to life, it is based a lot out of ego, for everyone. And that's not to call anyone like an egoist or anything like that, but it definitely has a great effect on your ability to just sort of see what's important and how to respond from your heart instead of react from your mind, right, in your emotional body. And so I find that to be so very helpful. And, like I said before, I used a company called Better You, and they were very supportive and very available at any time, to help me in any way that I needed during the treatment, in the sense of supportive conversation and therapy, which I also very much appreciated. And so I'm very excited about this movement in, psychedelic therapy for mental health. And, I know that they're working toward MDMA, psilocybin, and a few others, and getting them on the same spectrum as ketamine. But right now it is federally legal. Ketamine is, and should be available in many states. The reason I chose Better You is they did have quite a good program for payment plan, because it is not covered by, insurance at this time for the most part, but it is, and can be a little bit costly. I believe it was around $1,300 for the 8 sessions that I did, but I was able to put like just under $300 down, and do a $78, I think it is, payment per month for 11 months, and that works for me. So maybe it can work for you. And I think also, if you have a little bit more to spend on a monthly basis, Mind Bloom has a 3-month program. So there are, please don't hesitate to look for, um, the payment plan option, especially if you really do feel it can help you. I'm not going to keep on going here, but I just did want to update everyone that I still feel good. I am, really happy about the results of this therapy, and I would recommend it to anyone who's struggling, especially if you've already been down the path of conventional mental health care and you're seeking something different and you're really ready to do the work. So that's the key thing. If you're not really ready to do the work, if you think you're just going to be able to lay back and, enjoy the ride and then come out on the other side with a clear head, you'll have, you might not be, too impressed with what you experience, because it is a little bit different than that, and there is the work to do, and it's not over yet. I still will have to move forward and keep very mindful about how I, in my cerebral experience of the world, and make sure that I'm choosing to be available to things outside of what I may have been in the past, and my responses and my reactions, and taking responsibility for myself in a sense of just making those steps forward and deciding to do something a little bit, unconventional as far as my historical responses to things and to life. But it did make it much easier to do that. I'd say that my ability to ground into a response versus be taken by a reaction has improved phenomenally. And, my ability to not need life to look a certain way in order to be happy in the day-to-day has also been improved. And I will likely do maintenance therapy as well. So every couple of months I may go into a clinic or, get some different experiences under my belt. And I will share with that too, as far as the clinical experience when I do that, how that is different, But I just wanted to update you guys, because I said I would, as far as what I experienced and the end game of my ketamine experience. And so I hope this helps you. And like I said, if you're considering it, if you want to ask questions, please do. Also, most of these companies are very available to talking with anyone about what they may experience and whether it's a good choice for them. So I encourage you to go ahead and give them a shout out, and contact them, and, figure out like if it's going to be something that could work for you, because I'm finally seeing myself come around the bend again after 3 years of grief and struggle that just seemed to, compound on itself, and I'm so grateful. So anyhow, okay, well, that's about it for this round. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow with, we're going to talk a little bit about divination and what is it exactly, and what are the types, ancient to now. And then I'll likely pick a couple of different tools of divination to sort of focus on for the other episodes. But please join us, and once again, thank you so much for showing up here and for supporting the channel. I really appreciate all of you so much, and I'm very excited about whatever community we can create together, and just to learn. I'm not here as an expert on anything. I'm here as just another human, wanting to know more, wanting to learn more about different things, and every time I bring something to the table, I'm learning with you. So that's why I always have notes and stuff, right? So, I appreciate you for appreciating me, for sure. And thank you again for showing, growing, and glowing as a human being, because, your light is valuable, and everyone shines a bit differently. Everyone has a little bit different of an energy pattern to give to the world. And I'm so grateful to everyone who chooses to give that. It's a gift that truly keeps on giving. It's your legacy. It can live beyond you and me in this moment in time, right? So I will see you guys tomorrow. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and comment down below. I would love it. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow. All right, there.